When I was a little boy, I'm gonna tell you when I was child, like 9 years old, like 9, I had long hair because we didn't have money for a haircut. And I asked my dad, I said, "Dad, can you help me? I need a haircut. Can you take me to the barber?" Because he used to take me to the barber all the time, and he and I would both get haircuts the same way. Well, this was back in the 70s, and back in the 70s, everybody was letting their hair grow out. He was letting his hair grow out too. And even though he had it short, but my hair, I mean, I hadn't seen a barber in months. So you can imagine I would wear a ball cap sometimes, not all the time, but my hair was like a fro. And so we didn't have any money. And then he told me, he said, one night, he said, "Come here and sit down, son." And he sat me down on the floor and he took a spaghetti bowl, one of those bowls that you put spaghetti in to drain the water. That's what he put. And he put it on my head and he took scissors that my mother had because she used to cut clothes and make her clothes. And he started cutting all around the bowl. And halfway through, he's cutting my hair. Halfway through the bowl, there was a knock on the door. And when he answered the door, it turned out to be a friend of his that had come in from out of town, needed a place to stay. Well, he asked me if I could wait till he's done with his friend and he'll finish cutting my hair. So I waited, but it turned out the friend stayed the night at the house. So the following morning, I got all this hair that's long on this side and hair short on this side. I have school to go to. So I went into the bathroom and I just started cutting. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just cutting. I swept up all the hair and I went to school like that. When I got to school, everybody made fun of me. You don't believe it. You can understand. 9-year-old, hair all chopped up. I came back home and I didn't pay much attention to them making fun of me. I just said, "Well, my dad's cutting my hair." I was telling him it was like a work in progress. So I told my dad, I said, "Dad, I really need you to finish cutting my hair." And he goes, "I don't know what I'm going to do." My mother was not happy. My mother said, "What did you do?" They called my dad Charlie at the time. So, "What did you do, Charlie?" He says, he said, "Well, brother Camilo came over to the house, needed a place to stay. And Camilo was still there. My father's friend was still staying at the house." So 2 days go by, 3 days go by. I went ahead and my father said it was time to mow the yard, and I'm mowing the yard, and I had a little bit of gas in a gas tank, and I looked down the road, and there was this retirement home center, little tiny house with little yards. I said, "Let me just go over there and see if I can mow some yards, and I'll see if I can make money to go get my haircut." My dad kept saying, "I didn't have the money to take you to go get your haircut." So I mowed a couple of yards. They paid me $3 a yard. I went over to the barber. The barber cost me $2, and I got my hair cut. And that's the first time I realized the power of money. And so I went back to the following day after school. I went back to the retirement home, and I started going door to door, cutting grass for $3 a yard. And I would do 2 or 3 yards a day, making $3 a yard. So about anywhere from $6 to $9 a day mowing yards. And then I began to realize, well, I got all this money now. And so I went and bought a skateboard that I wanted, and I needed pants. So I went and bought me some pants at a place called Perry's downtown San Benito. And little by little, I started generating this money. And every weekend I was mowing all these yards. I had about 20, 30 yards that I would mow. So I would make about $100 mowing yards, all in that community. And from that moment to this day, I've been making my own money.